Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea. It could be a 20, 30, 40-minute podcast today. What a set of insights. Now as we move on days from announcements in the Rose Garden, a bombshell announcement. You look at home, you're at home and I'm in the coffee table, vet bill's on my lap, and the phone's on the coffee table and I don't want to pick it up because I don't know what the news will be. So of course, kennel fee was on my lap last night and I picked it up at 9:15 and there was China saying, no, we're not going to play. And the markets gyrate and the emerging markets went off and Japan went up. You know the story. But then we get a real lift this morning, and there's still great uncertainty out there, really thanks to all of Bloomberg for letting us go commercial-free in the 9 o'clock hour. It makes a big, big difference to get the market open. We started strong with the Nobel laureate Paul Krugman, always controversial. YouTube live chat lit up like a candle. Thanks for those constructive comments, pro and con. Paul Krugman on what he won the Nobel Prize for, and what it's about is nonlinear tariffs. Let's listen.
The damage done by tariffs is not proportional to the tariff. It's proportional to the square of the tariff. So, a 20% tariff is something like 4 times as bad as a 10% tariff. Now, putting numbers to it, long run, it's funny thing. The long run impact of these tariffs is probably, it's going to be worse than Brexit. So in Brexit, we tend to think it was 3 or 4% of British GDP, maybe. This could easily be more than that, though there's a limit to it. It's hard to get. It's not, in itself, it's a serious hit to the economy. But the funny thing is, in the short run, it can be worse. And the reason it can be worse is the extreme uncertainty that we're creating. And so, once we, even with these high tariffs, we'll settle down eventually. Business will find ways to cope. Costs will be higher. GDP will be lower. But that's, we'll make that transition.
Paul Krugman, of course, on his Substack. Can't say enough about it. Subscribe to Paul Krugman's Substack. He's writing, if anything, more often than when he was with the New York Times, and it's on fire, whatever your political beliefs. We've really enjoyed the academic debate of this. We really thank all of the different heavyweights worldwide, who've weighed in. Jason Furman, writing in the Financial Times today, was heated. A major shout out to Le Monde in Paris, who in Le Monde English had the 2 economists that Peter Navarro of the White House mentioned. They wrote an essay. I don't have their names in front of me. One's out of Berkeley, one's out of MIT, and they were absolutely scathing on being quoted by Navarro. Look to Le Monde in English. It's really worthwhile to get a snapshot of what's going on in France. Thank you, Adam Tooze, for your interest in Bloomberg surveillance, and always thank you to Professor Blanchard and all at the Peterson Institute. Great to hear from you as well. It was great to hear from Libby Cantrill. She's the PIMCO. She's a great student of the parties and the ballet in Washington. Libby Cantrill on Trump and his Republicans.
This speaks to the fact that this party is the party of Trump. And many folks in the House have the president to thank for even being there in the first place. And so this is why I think there's been a real reluctance to push back in public. Again, there is some private pushback, but again, I think this is a worldview that President Trump has had for 40 years. This is what we keep telling our clients. And he ran on this. He believes he has a mandate to fulfill this. He believes that there's a lot of unfinished business from the first administration. And I think that the market obviously wants to maybe see through this or hope that there is something, this will result in a different outcome. But our view is tariff rates are going to be going up, and that will have a headwind on, growth and likely have implications for inflation. To the degree is going to depend on the stickiness of all of this, obviously. But I think that it is naive to think that we are not going to see probably significantly higher tariff levels.
Libby Cantrill there of PIMCO, we talked to her as well about the path down the road, and with Maya McGinnis yesterday as well on the budget, on the fiscal plan, and of tax. Libby Cantrill was somewhat optimistic that they could actually get through tax legislation this year. We'll have to wait and see on that. We're deep into it feels like, it's like November, second week of the year. What a long year. We're deep into April in this fractious 2025. Thanks for listening on your commute across America on YouTube. Subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts, and out on YouTube Podcasts. This is Single Best Idea.